Well, g'day folks. Hope you are doing well. Did you take my advice in last night's show? Did you go to Ainsley Bullion and buy yourself some silver or some gold? No? You missed out. Last night, I think when we closed the show, silver was at 48 thereabouts dollars. It had gone up, or $47 something. It had gone up significantly during the show. Gold had actually gone up more significantly during 1 hour. I can tell you overnight the price of silver has jumped 5%. It's now over $50 an ounce. So you should be happy chappies if you are sitting on your stash and looking to grow it. I would advise, if you can, keep buying. Ainsley Bullion, of course, if you go onto their website over the weekend or whatever time, you get the price at that time. You pay that price at that time. The price updates every 15 or 20 seconds. And or it might be every minute, thereabouts, but it updates very regularly. Right now, I think it's going to go higher. So if you can buy now, there is still a chance you can put something good into your kick and be happy. Black Sheep is a very happy man. I woke up to his message this morning saying that he was very chuffed at what had happened overnight, and he quoted a couple of figures. I jumped out of bed and went and had a look at the computer myself. And those figures were slightly out because they'd increased again. So life isn't a bad thing at the moment if you have a little stack and you've been waiting for the bubble to burst, particularly if your stack was bought somewhere in the $30 to $40 range. You're doing pretty good. But how many investments do you know that can jump 5% overnight, can offer that kind of a return? Now, okay, it doesn't always do that, I understand, but we have been telling you for a long time that the market is going to do this, right? It is going to do this. It's going to spike. It is going to go higher. If you don't have any gold or silver now, please go to ainsleyBullion.com.au, buy some. Get in, even if it's only a little bit, buy a couple of coins or buy a coin. You might be amazed at what that coin could return you at some point in the future. Also, really interesting way of buying is using the Ainsley rounds, particularly the 1/10ths that come in the roll. I had the opportunity yesterday to offer to pay cash or to use silver, some of those 1/10ths. And it was about a $70 purchase that I was making. And old mate said I'd be very happy to take, those coins off you. No problems. 7 of them, worth $10 each. They're now worth a bit more than that, but yesterday they were worth $10 each. And was able to make the sale. So there are more businesses now open to accepting it. And of course, because that bloke took that sale in silver yesterday, he's made money on top of that deal overnight. That silver has increased in value. So it hasn't been a cost to him. It's actually been an investment for him to accept that silver in the trade for the goods that I was looking for. And I reckon if I rang him this morning and said, you can now get $12 for each one of those $10 coins or whatever it works out to be, then you've done okay. I would recommend you, if you can, if you have the opportunity, go to ainsleyBullion.com.au, buy something online now. The price you get now is the price you pay. So don't worry if it goes up over the weekend and Monday morning they come in to do the orders and you think, oh, you're going to pay Monday's price. No, you won't. You will pay the price you pay right now. And then they'll send it to you on Monday and you'll have it Tuesday or Wednesday in your hot little hand. But I can't stress to you enough, folks, go and give this a look. If you have the opportunity to buy a couple of silver pieces, then great, do that. If you've got the opportunity to put your stack into gold, then do that too. Right now, I think it's close to $450 an ounce, or might even be over $450, $4,050 an ounce. That's grown significantly, considering the night before last, I watched it pop through the $4,000 mark. So the increases have been quite significant in the last 24, 48 hours. So we see no signs of that stopping at the moment. And in fact, I can tell by the complete lack of international news on, shit websites like news.com.au, that something has happened in the Middle East or in Russia. I would say whether or not war has broken out might be a strong term, but I think there may well have been some actions being taken in those regions which have given the investors cause to get their money out of whatever it's in and put it into the safest thing on earth, precious metals, something that has intrinsic value. Get your cash out of a bank and get it into gold and silver, folks, because that's the only way you're going to hold it. When these banks crash, what are you going to do? And they will crash. It is coming. It is coming. G'day, Tobias. Nice to have you in. Remember it costing the same amount as an ounce of weed. Yeah, well, I think at one point there, weed was worth more than an ounce of gold. A lot. Well, I think weed's been worth more than gold for a long time. Don't think that that's terribly good way of judging the price. Put it that way. And I don't know that you get value for money out of your weed like you might out of your silver or gold. But I don't know. Depends how you go on your weed, I guess. You bought some bobs a month back, Shaz. Well done. Good luck. I hope you look at them longingly every day like I do mine. I just sit there and look at them and think, geez, they're a beautiful thing. Yesterday was the first opportunity I've actually had to see whether or not, I actually had some on me and I thought, I'll try this and see if it works. And bugger me, it did. So I was a bit surprised. You bought Jamie McIntyre's Truth Coin too, yeah. I had to laugh about that just a little bit. The irony. But anyway, it is what it is. I nearly bought Jamie McIntyre's bus, until he figured out it was me, and he probably realised the deal wasn't going to go down terribly well because the bus was in a bit of a state. Okay, Black Sheep. Back in 1994, weed was $300 an ounce and gold was about the same. Well, okay. $300 an ounce. That's a long time ago now, isn't it? 1994. Well, I suppose silver prices might be more in line with weed today. I don't know. Gold certainly isn't at $4,000 an ounce. I can't imagine silver would be at $50 an ounce either. The weed sellers would be out of business. There'd be none left. So anyway, enough surmising on the price of weed versus silver and gold. I know which one you're going to get a better investment out of. So that's where I'd be heading if I were you folks. Don't go to the green, go to the gold. How does that sound? Or the silver. In Canberra in the early 2000s, weed was $400. Bloody hell. Black Sheep remembers because he was in a bike club at the time and he was saving for the gold club ring. Good on you, mate. All right. Well, I know there's a lot of chuffed people today. Pretty happy that their stack has grown in value overnight. And you tell me anywhere else in any other investment platform that you can grow your wealth 5% overnight. Because that's what happened last night, folks. Your wealth grew 5% overnight. It's got to be a pretty spectacular thing. The world's in a strange place at the moment. I do believe the good Lord is pushing us towards what we are meant for. So I'm happily riding this journey. People say, I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody and they're saying, oh, the war. And I was smiling and I didn't realize I was smiling. And they said, what are you smiling about? This is a really bad thing. And I don't see it that way. I really don't. I'm not completely convinced it's going to get to an all-out war. It might, but I'm not completely convinced that it will. There are too many convergences happening on one point. And what is that point? That point is the American election. There are too many things happening, too many large global reactive things happening at the moment that if, let's say, war does truly kick off in Europe, there won't be an election because Biden will make some excuse that as America has to go to war, they won't have an election. He will extend his term and hand over to Kamala Harris. That would be my pick. I don't know that that would happen, but that's what I assume he would do because they're not going to leave him in control. So if there is no election, and he can make that declaration if there is war, all right? Biden can make the determination that there will be no election while there is a war on. And there's precedent for that. So be prepared for that kind of bullshit to be happening, and that will upset, no doubt, many Americans, many Trump supporters as well. That could put America on a civil war footing. See how it's all coming together around that November 5th kind of date. There is things happening with Russia, Ukraine. There are stories about North Korean troops that have been sent from Pyongyang to the Russian front with Ukraine, and a dozen or more of these top-level, very highly trained North Korean soldiers have done a runner, disappeared, and are somewhere trekking around Russia. I don't know that that's the case. I guess if it's the first time you've ever been out of North Korea, and it probably is for them, I don't know they're going to see too many different things in Russia. But that certainly doesn't go well if Kim Jong-un is sending troops into Russia and they're running away. But this is also a print war. So the journalists who write this bullshit simply are writing, well, bullshit. This is propaganda. This is shit designed to bolster up our side, if you like, or their side, and the North Koreans being shown as weaklings. So bloody March flies. Now, Kim Jong-un, as we all know, is a very good friend of Donald Trump. A very good friend of Donald Trump. Vladimir Putin has huge amounts of respect for Donald Trump. Could Donald Trump come in and stop this war overnight? Yeah, I think he probably could. Not because he's Donald Trump, but because he's got something on them. Right? He's got something on them. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting weekend, I think. A very interesting weekend. And if you have the opportunity now, go and buy some silver or gold, please. Platinum is also worth getting, right? Platinum has jumped about 140, 120, at least over $100. I'm going backwards, but at least over $100 an ounce in the last day. So I saw it this morning. I think it was about for $1,500. I looked yesterday, it was $1,300 something. So it was $100 and something. It's jumped overnight as well. Platinum is a good investment. You don't always have to go into silver and gold. And if you ask Pete from Pinaroo, who has a bit of platinum, I know because I went and bought it for him and sent it to him. Little 1/10 platinum kookaburra. But platinum is worth your consideration as well. So don't, if you've got an affiliation or an aversion rather to gold and silver, don't get too worried about that. There is platinum, and it is offering significantly good returns as well. So go and check that out, folks, and good luck with your buying today. I have spoken with Michael Engerman this morning from Ainsley Bullion. He's at a cricket game this morning with his son, so we will have a chat a little later on. And I might see if I can do a live with him. It'll depend on his availability. But if I can, we'll do that later on this afternoon, and we'll have a bit of a discussion about the gold and silver market. And if Cass is up for it, we might see if we can include her in that conversation as well, because your self-managed super fund, which, if you've been following our advice, will have a bit of gold and silver in it, you might want to, learn about what's happening in that part of your investment portfolio as well. And Cass is the one to talk about. Yes, we are talking about buying the physical threshold. We are. And buying it and having it in your kick. Although some people are blessed and have a little more available cash to spend, and that means that they can buy a little bit more. There aren't a lot of people who want to put $100,000 worth of gold in their house, or $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 worth of gold in their house, for fear of it being knocked off, or a house fire or whatever. The whole idea of being able to secure your stash at your house can make people very, very nervous and paranoid. So some people do it quite easily, quite well, and they're very smart about how they do things, and as long as you remember where you've put it all is good. But if you, like me, might struggle to remember where you've put things at times, then Ainsley Bullion can offer you a storage facility through their business, The Vault, in Brisbane, and they also have a vault in Melbourne as well. Now that means you can buy online, you can buy $1 million, let's use that as an example, buy $1 million worth of gold and silver, but you don't want to put $1 million worth of gold and silver in your house, or plant it in your garden, or stick it wherever. What are you going to do with it? Well, you would get some of it delivered to you so that you have access to it straight away, but my advice then would be to put the rest of it in the vault. Now you can buy allocated or unallocated gold and silver. Allocated means you can pick the bars you want, all right, and they will be your bars. So you can pick certain styles, you can pick certain designs, all that sort of stuff. Unallocated means you get straight off the shelf what they pick for you, and if you don't care how shiny it is, sometimes you'll get vintage bars, which are, from the collector's perspective, something well worthwhile to look into. And in fact, our collector's video will go up this weekend from Ainsley Bullion. So watch out for that. That'll be on the FBN Media site. So FBN Media on YouTube is our, FBN Media channel. So FBN, as in Foxtrot Bravo November, Media. And you'll find us. And I'll load that up hopefully later this afternoon. I've just got to do one more little quick edit on it, and I'll be uploading it. So fingers crossed, all that will come your way. So allocated and unallocated. Unallocated basically means they'll take a selection to the value of whatever you're spending off their shelves, stick it in your name, and then it's yours. So all stuck aside. However, because they're unallocated bars, things sort of can swap and change and swap and change. So the bar that you saw, and said, okay, that'll be mine as unallocated. Well, that just means it's one of many silver bars. They could pick that one, they could pick another one and hand it off in the trade. If you particularly want certain bars, then that's where you store or buy allocated and store allocated. And that way you get to keep those bars of your choice. So Ainsley do a very competitive deal through the vault for storage, and if you're concerned about large amounts of precious metals, that's definitely the place to do it. I've been into the vault a couple of times now. We are working to take you into the vault, but security is a concern, and there are many I's to dot and T's to cross before we can get in there. So that will come, and we'll be very happy to show you around the vault and just how secure that is, hopefully in the not too distant future. Brenda's got a good video for me to watch. Well, Brenda, email it to me, carl@vofhq.com. I have a 90-minute video today that I have to watch from Janine in New Zealand, who has put forward, I think if you were watching last night's show, you would have heard a bit about that. I've watched a little bit of it so far. It is, well, it's dry, but it's enthralling when you think about what she's putting into place here. So that's well worth a look too. But yeah, send me the videos, carl@vofhq.com. Very happy to have a look. And thank you to the folks who've reached out to me regarding the White House recruitment document. There are two emails. I've read a portion of one, and there's another that I haven't opened this morning. So thank you. I will get onto those, well, probably straight after this, and go and have a read, and we will discuss what I suspect might be in those emails on Monday. Looking forward to it. All right, Vince, if you happen to see this one, I hope you can chuck it across onto Rumble for me. And if not, then I'll probably just go over to Rumble and try and do one there. Have yourself a great day, folks. What are you going to do now? You're going to go to ainsleyBullion.com.au and you're going to buy yourself some silver or gold. You'd be mad if you don't. Mad if you don't. Take advantage of this if you have the opportunity. I know not everybody does, but please, if you do have the opportunity to take advantage of this, I implore you, get onto it now. You're going to make a lot of money for yourself out of it. Have yourself a great day, folks, and if you're on the roads, you know who to avoid. Yep, those big